We've covered many strange and unexplained things which can be found within Egypt. Home to undoubtedly one of the most perplexing structures on the face of the planet, it is a place which also displays erosion from an as yet untold history, evidence of a far greater antiquity, and obviously its many unexplainable creations. Yet there are still many amazing areas of this once flourishing civilization's home which are yet to be told. One such site which is currently being unraveled is the once lost, submerged city of Heraklion. Also known as Thonis, it was a place long thought to have been mythical, a city of extraordinary wealth mentioned by Herodotus, visited by Helen of Troy and Paris, her lover, but according to legend mysteriously buried under the sea. Recent discoveries have in fact confirmed that Heraklion was true, not only that it existed, actually know where it is. Successfully uncovering many of its treasures, archaeologists have been able to produce a picture of what life was like in this city in the era of its existence. Although it was long attested as mythical, upon its amazing discovery, the same academia immediately put forward a dating for its apparent submersion, stating beyond doubt that the city disappeared beneath the Mediterranean waves around 1200 years ago. So far, they have discovered the remains of more than 64 ships, lots of gold coins, giant 16-foot statues uncovered and brought to the surface, with hundreds of smaller statues of minor gods being found on the seafloor. Slabs of stone inscribed in ancient Egyptian have also been brought to the surface. Dozens of small limestone sarcophagi were also recently uncovered by divers, and are believed to have once contained mummified animals put there to appease the gods. Dr. Damian Robinson, director of the Oxford Centre for Maritime Archaeology at the University of Oxford, who is part of the team working on the site, said, quote, "It is a major city we are excavating. The site has amazing preservation. We are now starting to look at some of the more interesting areas within it to try to understand life there. We are getting a rich picture of things like the trade that was going on there and the nature of the maritime economy in the Egyptian late period. There were things coming in from Greece and the Phoenicians." End quote. Another string to a once amazing civilization's bow. We will keep you posted regarding any perplexing finds. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, take care.
There are many unexplained ruins which can be found within Egypt. Who built the Great Pyramids? What was the true identity and purpose for the Great Sphinx? Countless mysteries still swirl around these enormous structures, and no matter how much academic study is pursued within this mystical place, an answer for how, and indeed why these monstrous feats were undertaken, remains unanswered. The reason for this gap in our understanding, we have come to hypothesize, is due to a paradigm of understanding, the result of which being that we as a species can only recollect a fraction of our history. A case of global amnesia has beset our kind, and unless those with the ability to see through the fog of established and as such heavily researched areas of our history, we may never solve the most important question of all: where do we come from? The reason for our growing, staunch belief in a lost history is only further compounded by the subjects we research, and indeed the seemingly impossible and as yet unanswered methods that an ancient, clearly once highly capable civilization utilized to achieve such remarkable feats of ancient engineering, and our next item of choice is of no exception. As mentioned, there exists a heavily researched and indeed unraveled history, which can be archaeologically found amongst these truly impressive ruins. However, although we are led to believe that academia has a handle on the ancient lives of those who dwelled within these structures, there are many areas which tell a different story, and one must question why. Why is there such gaps of explanation, when we are told that much of what these groups undertook has been researched and understood since the time of Edward Carter? Why was the Valley of the Kings lost? Who, and indeed how, were the ancient pyramids constructed? Many of the things we are now under the presumption have been fully explored are merely rediscoveries, completely absent from the ream of writing and hieroglyphics later deciphered and read. The submerged city of Heracleon, for example, an entire ancient city which not only clearly dates from the time of the pyramids, but was also submerged in an event we are yet to be informed of. The rediscovery of this site in recent times is yet another example that the attitudes of those who are granted access to such sites is misplaced, and what we thought we knew about the true creators of said sites is a red herring, a smokescreen, placed down by later, surviving, and due to these unknown events, proven by heavy research, far less capable, far more primitive a civilization, who merely re-inhabited such sites, allowing them to develop to a point where they were not only able to leave their own archaeological legacy amongst these ruins, but also to claim such intimidating works as their own. Such a reality, such a claimed illusion, would also have made them a perceived force to be reckoned with, an opportunistic strategy that any critical thinking leader would have leapt at to not only preserve one's power, but to ensure the ongoing existence of their own kind. This posited scenario would also explain why the ancient city of Heracleon, and indeed the Sphinx, the Great Pyramids, the Colossus of Memnon, the unfinished obelisk, and so forth, remained undescribed within what is claimed as the builder's writings, and why such incredible feats were seemingly silently undertaken. Any explanation as to how these sites were built, such as that of Baalbek over 1,000 miles away, possessed Aswan granite columns many tons in weight, remains a mystery. For one can claim such works as their own, but an explanation as to how they achieved them would not be something they could provide. Who built the ancient city of Heracleon, indeed the entire plateau of Giza? Why is the city submerged underwater? And what happened to those who constructed such sites? It is a pursuit for answers which we find highly compelling. Many civilizations have been and gone here upon our planet. Yet thanks to the time within history in which certain civilizations flourished, countless artifacts and historical studies can and have been undertaken into their existence. We are able to decipher their daily lives, their religious beliefs and practices, even their languages. However, in doing so, we have never been able to decode any knowledge or explanation for the countless, seemingly impossible ancient feats, lost abilities of stonemasonry. No documentation found within any hieroglyph, literature, parchment, or other ancient text. Yet pyramids, polygonal masonry, multi-thousand-ton megaliths, along with countless other curious, clear signatures of a lost civilization's work exists. And due to this mystery regarding how these sites were created, we have to presume that those who constructed them were placed at a far earlier time within history, one that was prior to a global flood, possibly the aftermath of a near-extinction level event, manifesting as a form of global amnesia and severing connections between continents, possibly for 10,000 years. Segesta within Sicily not only looks the same age as that of the foundation walls of Baalbek, and indeed the gargantuan megaliths found within the Trilithon, but the enormous temple is still standing along with its amphitheater, which, if we look to the still surviving polygonal stage flooring present at the theater within Delphi, a site we have covered in the past, one which is also littered with polygonal walls, we find more support for the theory that these amphitheaters, with their incredible acoustics, are also remnants left by this same lost civilization. Yet we feel the smoking gun are the protuberances which are still visible within its foundation blocks. It is of no surprise to us that its origins are hotly contested, with many academic teams concluding that it was merely the work of traveling Trojans. This regardless of the multi-ton columns that were so perfectly laid they all still stand to this day. When one considers that protuberances are found on polygonal masonry all around the world, and that modern stonemasons are now exploring interlocking blocks, with some such as large Lego blocks already in mass production, it is no surprise that while many claim it to be Greek, others claim it not. This will not cease anytime soon. Many religious beliefs have gained traction in regard to its original purpose. Thus, conveniently, there is little chance that this contention will move forward. Who built the ruins of Segesta? When did they build them? We find the possibilities highly compelling.